Hello, my name is India. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, whatever time it is for you. We're starting a little vlog. I don't know how little it's going to be, but I saw Sunny from A Sunny Book Nook do a reading vlog challenge based on the letters in their name, and I was like, I want to do that, and so I'm going to do it. Simple. So right now, I'm going to go through and talk to you about some of the books I might choose. I haven't set a, specific TBR yet, but I have pulled out books that whose titles start with the letters in my name, India, I-N-D-I-A, and I'm going to talk to you about some of them that I might choose from. So let's start with I. I have two I's in my name, and my train of thought is gone. I have two I's in my name, so I need to pick two of these, but I don't know what I will choose just yet. So first we have In the Next Room, or The Vibrator Play by Sarah Ruhl. This is a play about the invention of the vibrator. I've read a book by Sarah Ruhl, and I've seen a couple of plays by Sarah Ruhl and really liked them. And it's been a minute since I've read a play, so I think this might be a fun one. And I found this at Goodwill, which was such a find. Then we have If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. I've also been meaning to get to this for a really long time. This is about a man who is falsely accused of a crime, and is supposed to be really good. So honestly, I would be happy if I chose these two, but I pulled out as many books that start with I as I could. I have Idaho Loners by Court Conley. This is a, I believe, independently published book that I've had for ages. This is about, this is nonfiction, about hermits, solitaries, and individualists in Idaho. I'm from Idaho originally. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this, but also at the same time, this seems kind of cool. I have I Must Be Living Twice by Eileen Miles. This is a collection of poetry, which might be a really good selection. And then we have, If They Come For Us in the Morning, Voices of Resistance, edited by Angela Y. Davis. This book is not only an account of Davis's incarceration and struggles surrounding it, but also perhaps the most comprehensive and thorough analysis of the prison system in the United States. So, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna choose two of these four. Probably not Idaho Loners, sorry. It'll just stay on my TBR indefinitely. So that's I. For N, I've got three books. We have Nevada by Imogen Binney, which is a trans road trip story. We have Nama by Sarah Blake, which is a retelling of Noah's Ark. Yeah, from the perspective of Noah's wife, who is, I think, unnamed, but called Nama in this book. And then we have The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, which is by Jhumpa Lahiri, who I love. Her collection of short stories, which I can't remember the title of, was really fantastic. So I'd be happy with any of those. Next, D is going to be probably the hardest for me to choose because I have a wide range of options. I know the one that I should choose, and let's talk about that first. I should choose Delta of Venus because this is on my TBR for spring. It's on my bingo board, so I should read this. This is a glittering cascade of sexual encounters. So I should pick this up, and I'm going to talk to you about the other options that I have. I'm going to set this aside so I know that if I'm being good, I'll read that one. But I could also read The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts, which is about the first in a series by Katie Roberts, a monster romance series about women who sell their soul and end up being auctioned off to monsters. So yeah, we have that. We have Down Below by Lenora Carrington, which is her, like, I think semi-autobiographical story of her being confined to a mental institution. This is really interesting to me. We have Dangerous Liaisons. Look at who wouldn't want to read this? The thing is, it's pretty chunky. I mean, it's a mass market paperback, but it's pretty chunky. We also have The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin, or I could read Devotion by Patti Smith. I haven't read any Patti Smith. And this was given to me by my mom, and it's short, but again, if I'm being good, this is gonna be the one that I pick. Okay, lastly, A. Let's talk about the A books we have. We have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the first in the Farseer trilogy, which I've heard nothing but fantastic things about, and also that it would wreck me. We have As Long as Grass Grows, The Indigenous Fight for Environmental Justice, From Colonization to Standing Rock. I've had this for a while. I got it, I believe, in... I don't know if I got this in a book box when I was, like, subscribed to the feminist book club box, but this is a really solid option. Ariel by Sylvia Plath. Poetry, sad poetry. And really, let's take a look at this. It's really only that long. And this is just like I forget what it's called when you have, a facsimile. So this is the facsimile of the manuscript, and then this is really like the collection itself. So, I don't know. I've been putting this off mostly because I've been like, it's Sylvia Plath. It's gonna be sad. But this could be a really solid option. And then we have Affinity by Sarah Waters, which I don't know what this is about, but I love Sarah Waters because I love historical fiction. And that's all I have to say. So we'll see what I pick up first. Like, part of me is like, I should pick up an I book first because my name starts with I, but really there are no rules. So I can do technically whatever I would like. But also I think starting with the vibrator play or In the Next Room would be pretty fun. I don't know. I will see you when I see you. Hello, welcome back. My cat is coming to say hello. Hello. I decided to start my first I read with If They Come For Us in the Morning, Voices of Resistance, edited by Angela White Davis. This is about prison abolition, and I'm not very far through. I'm only like 44 pages through. I read the foreword and the preface and the like letter from James Baldwin to Angela Davis and her first
piece, which is Political Prisoners, Prisons, and Black Liberation, which is all about, you know, the idea that people argue against resistance and being like, only legal forms of resistance are allowed, or like, that's the only viable form. Sorry if I'm just messing with my hair. That's not appropriate right now. Only legal forms of resistance are viable. And the clear argument that Angela Davis makes that, yeah, but also laws exist to oppress people, and systemically oppress Black and brown people.
Editing me here to clarify what I was trying and not very eloquently saying. Just because it feels like particularly pertinent with what's happening both in and with Palestine and with what's happening in LA right now. But this argument that revolution can't fit under like legally okay acts because laws protect the oppressors and laws exist in our country to disenfranchise people of color and minorities, and that is kind of the focus of this first piece that she writes, is that resistance has to be illegal, like criticizing the critique that of resistance being like breaking laws, and that revolutionaries should follow the law. And it's like, no, that's not how this goes. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say.
Anyway, that's that first one. The second one, which I haven't started yet, is Lessons from Attica to Soledad. I thought that my first Angela Davis would be Women, Race, and Class, which I do have, but I am happy that I'm getting to this, and just think it's one of those things that while I am like obviously agree with and stand by prison abolition, it's something that I don't engage with as much as I probably should. And so re-engaging with it from a like theory level is good for my brain. That's what I have to say. It's also just like well written. But maybe all I have to say during this catch up, I'm a smoothie person now. Maybe, I don't know. I was very turned off of smoothies, and then I started craving them. And I don't consistently eat fruit. You don't care about that. Anyway, I'm gonna continue reading and let you know how that goes. I'll continue to update you. One thing, one of the things that I underlined, this gets at what I was trying to say earlier, that I just was not doing very well. There's a distinct and qualitative difference between one breaking a law for one's own individual self-interest and violating it in the interest of a class or a people whose oppression is expressed either directly or indirectly through that particular law. The former might be called a criminal, though in many instances he is a victim, but the latter, as a reformist or revolutionary, is interested in universal social change. Captured, he or she is a political prisoner. So that's what that first one gets at.
Let's chat a little bit. This is a new little angle. You can see the two things that I'm yarn bombing currently. We've got a chair and a like box lamp. Anyway, I'm still reading If They Come For Us in the Morning, Voices of Resistance and edited by Angela Davis. I'm way more than halfway through. I think we'll finish it quickly. It's not like I knew who Angela Davis is, right? Like I didn't go into this completely blind, but I also had never read anything from her. I hadn't like spent a lot of time learning about her, learning about her activism, her life, her experience in prison. So this has been quite enlightening in that regard. And yeah, just like there's a lot, hey, my cats. Yeah, this is just about prison abolition and is such like a probably staple. And I'm sure there are other books too that stand as staples for understanding and arguing for prison abolition. I just finished a section that was interviews while she was at the Women's House of Detention in New York. And one of the questions was like, how do you link, my cats are going crazy right now. Hey! How do you see the women's movement and how do you consider it to have a special role for Black women? And she says, the success or failure of a revolution can almost always be gauged by the degree to which the status of women is altered in a radical progressive direction. So yeah, you know, making my way through this. I also started completely different. I'm skipping N right now because I knew I wanted to read something a little bit smutty, a little bit erotic. And it was between Dangerous Liaisons, Delta of Venus, which I really thought I was gonna read, like really did think, or The Dragon's Bride. And I chose The Dragon's Bride. I'm really not that far into it. I'm one chapter in. This follows Briar Rose, who is making a deal with a demon to escape her abusive husband. And she's making this deal, and the deal entails that she will be auctioned off. She has to serve for 7 years, and she has to be auctioned off to these monsters. And oh, and Eleanor says hello. Oh, you can see those more clearly now. She's gonna be auctioned off to serve for 7 years as a bride to a monster and as a bride to a dragon. So yeah, I'm really not far into it, but I want to get some of this read before I head into work because, oh my god. Because this, I feel comfortable taking with me to read when I have downtime at one of my jobs. This though, a little bit less so, feels a little bit less professional. How do we feel about the little, so off topic, so sorry. I mean, look. Hello. Anyway, that's what I'm reading right now. And that's what I wanted to update you on. Is there anything else that I can update you on? I don't think so. I think that's all. I am wearing, you won't be able to see this unless I put it down here. Oh, hi. I will have it noted that I am putting my phone on their cat tree, so really I am in their domain. Okay, I want it to be like softer and more diffused. It so doesn't matter. No one's gonna care. Anyway. This is the outfit. Little skirt moment. Matches the eyeshadow. Yeah. I'll talk to you when I talk to you next. I have quite a lot to update you on. I don't think I officially updated you on finishing If They Come First in the Morning, which was my first I pick. I really enjoyed reading this. I think I put this off because I thought it was going to be really dense and hard to get through, and that just wasn't the case. I found this to be pretty readable, and I think it was good to just like re-engage in the topic of political of the cat is trying to eat my hair tie of prison abolition. And yeah, I enjoyed this one. I started and then finished The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. I love monster romance. I don't know what it is. I think it's the monster element. Probably. This is about Briar Rose, who engages in a deal with a demon. And the deal is that she will get to escape her life with this abusive husband. And she has to serve this demon for 7 years. And the way that goes is she gets auctioned off. She's part of this auction with all these other women who have made this deal with this demon. And they get auctioned off to these monsters who are like territory leaders. And she ends up with the dragon. I'm like really holding this up. I want you... I love the cover a lot, and I really love the cover of the next one, The Kraken's Sacrifice. I'm so excited to start reading that, especially because it's a kraken. Anyway, Briar Rose ends up with Soul, the dragon, and it's a time. It was just like really smutty, and I really liked it and read it quite quickly. Then, so that was for my D read. So I skipped N, but I'm back. Ow. I'm back with N. I'm reading Nama by Sarah Blake. This is a book about Nama, who is Noah's wife, as in like Noah's Ark. And it is about the Ark. And it's about Nama's thoughts while she's on the Ark, while they're building the Ark. Her thoughts about the people who are left behind, about animals. It's really has a lot of sex in it, which is interesting. I kind of knew that going in, but also it's a little surprising. It's like very much, there's a lot of just like intimacy in here. I'm loving the writing. The writing is really good. And it makes me want to pick up more by Sarah Blake. What else? What else? Yeah, it's just very readable, and I'm halfway through. Those are my updates. I'm gonna sit and read and drink my tea for a little bit before I have therapy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to tell you, and I don't think there is. Hello. It is, oh, my cats are on one. It's 5:45, which means I head into work in a little bit. And I just want to talk to you about some reading plans because I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish Nama today. I only have less than 100 pages to go, and it's been reading really quickly, really fastly, really quickly. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna get read. And then I'm bringing a couple books with me because I don't know what I want yet. After Nama is done, I will just have the second I in my name and the A. So for the second I, I'm gonna bring In the Next Room, or The Vibrator Play by Sarah Rule. In part because it's been a hot minute since I've read a play, and I think that would be good to have on my reading blanket where I'm keeping track. Oh. Girl. You see, I saw that coming, but I did nothing to prevent it. I think it would be good to have a play represented on my reading blanket that I am crocheting based on the genres that I read. So we have this bad boy. And then I'm bringing As Long as Grass Grows, the Indigenous Fight for Environmental Justice from Colonization to Standing Rock. I think I just feel really, I don't want to use the word empowered, but empowered to read more nonfiction since finishing If They Come For Us in the Morning by Angela Davis. This is by Dina Gilio Whitaker. Yeah, I also thought that I might bring, linking back to my reading blanket, might bring Ariel by Sylvia Plath so that I have an opportunity to use my poetry colors, but I don't know about that. I mean, I might be in a good headspace to read Ariel. Like, this might be a really good time for me to read it. So I'm also gonna grab that. I'm just bringing so many books because I don't know what I want to read. I'm also bringing My Antonia, which I am like a third of the way through. And I put down because I finished the section and I did not pick up again. So this is one of the books that I want to read this year, want to reread this year. And if I finish it, I can go back. Man, I'm just like referencing all this stuff. I can go back to my winter bingo board and check off that I read A Willa Cather. Speaking of my bingo boards, it's June. I need to switch over to the summer bingo boards. Whoa. I did not do as great in this spring bingo board as I did with my winter one. I think I just was going through a time where I wasn't reading a lot, and now I'm in a place where I feel like reading is much more of a priority. And I think that that will be true going into summer more. Also, look at my nails. They're mooncat because I was influenced. Is that all that I have to say? I will check in with you probably after work to let you know what I did or did not read. Same angle, different time. I was correct in my assertion that I would finish Nama at work today. So, what do I think about this? I enjoyed it. I think I liked the first 3/4 of it more than the last quarter. Something about the end, I just was like ready for it to be over, but not necessarily in a bad way. I think I just was like, I feel like I've gotten from the story the things that I can get from it, and I'm ready to move on. But I say that, and I really liked the writing. I think the messaging was very interesting. So like, Sarah Blake reclaims the story of his wife Nama, the matriarch who kept them alive. Here's the woman torn between faith and fury, and we're really getting that dichotomy for her of like her feelings towards and her relationship with God and the flood and everything. I think I found the conversations about intimacy, about womanhood, more interesting though. I mean, like, she's having a good time with some women, including like an angel. Okay. But yeah, N done. I didn't stir anything because I didn't have time, and that's fine. I'm thinking I'm gonna start In the Next Room or the vibrator play. Hello. I realized that I didn't talk to you essentially at all about In the Next Room, which is the play that I read for my second eye space, and I'm gonna talk to you about it now. So In the Next Room is about the history of the invention of vibrators, which essentially were invented as a solution to and treatment for hysteria in, I don't remember when, but it's like, really? Yeah, okay. So it tells the story of a gynecologist and his wife and two of his patients, and the other character is a what's she called? I was gonna say a midwife, and that's, I mean, there is a midwife, but there's a midwife, and then there is a nursemaid. Yeah, right? Anyway, so it is mostly about this gynecologist and his patients, and his wife being like so what's going on in there? Do I get to experience your work? And he's like, no, you're absolutely healthy. And then she develops this like friendship with one of his patients, and she's like, so what happens in there? And she's like, I don't know. Stuff. And they go and they look at the vibrator, and shenanigans ensue. There's also a male patient who is involved, and then there is this wet nurse. There we go. This wet nurse who is the wet nurse to the gynecologist's wife's baby, because she isn't producing enough milk. And so there's also this like conversation about feeling like you're not a good mother because you're not able to provide for your child in a physical way. Anyway, it was good. I like Sarah Rule. I think it would be really fun to see. But that's true of reading any play, I think. So, yeah, I am currently reading As Long as Grass Grows, The Indigenous Fight for Environmental Justice from Colonization to Standing Rock by Dina Gilio-Whitaker. I found an audiobook for this, which I think is going to make a big difference because this is dense, and I already found myself getting a little bit lost with the writing. I would not say that this is like accessibly written. Like it feels very, not hard to follow, but just like it feels like an academic text. So yeah, I haven't actually started the audiobook because I was having troubles getting it connected to my car, on my phone to my car, for me to listen to on my commute, but I hope to listen to it a bit tomorrow because I have to go in and get my tires changed. Yuck. But earlier this week I got a flat tire for the first time ever. That's not really true. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got a flat tire and had to go to get it fixed, and they were like, hello, you need new tires. And I said, okay, reluctantly. So that's what I have to update you on. My cats are being really cute right now, and I'll check in with you when I have something to check in with you about. So I've tried the audiobook for As Long as Grass Grows. I'm not super far into it, but I'm like, I don't know. I think it's gonna take me longer than I'd like for this video. I think I need to take my time with it. It's very informative and very academic, and I'm just having a hard time focusing on it at the moment. So I'm going to try either Affinity by Sarah Waters, which is a historical fiction, because that's what Sarah Waters writes, or Ariel by Sylvia Plath, which is like depressed girl poetry. I think I'm going to start with Ariel because it's been on my shelves for so long, and maybe save Affinity, even though I haven't updated you on my book blanket, but it'd be nice to get the like light green that is historical fiction on there. But I think I need to do this. So that's what we're gonna do. I took a shower, I'm nice and clean. And I've just been knitting and watching YouTube. But I was like, I want to read, but I don't want to listen to anything, and I don't want to pick up As Long as Grass Grows. Because it's hard to read. Yeah, I'm like not even that far into the first chapter. So it goes like that sometimes. But yeah. In an unfortunate turn of events, I have gotten sick. But let me update you on my reading. So I am almost finished with Ariel by Sylvia Plath. I don't feel like reading that right now. There are a couple of poems that I do dog ear my books for like pages that feel really important to me or that I want to keep track of. Could I just use the sticky tab? Yeah. Do I? No. But I'll probably finish that sometime this week, if not next week at work. I have actually made some solid progress on As Long as Grass Grows, because what I've been doing is I've been listening to the audiobook while I knit and like sitting down and having a really intentional time with it, and it's been good. So we're talking about environmental justice, Indigenous perspectives, Indigenous fight for environmental justice, the history of like not just cultural genocide but also environmental genocide, and the way that environmental harm has coincided with cultural genocide. And so it's been really interesting, and we're really doing a lot of like history learning, including, like, I think the most recent chapter explored what it means for Native groups, to Indigenous groups, to have like tricky relationships with the earth, where it's like they respect, this feels reductive to be like they respect the earth, when it's like I should be talking about a specific, anyway, when specific Native Indigenous groups have like a relationship to the earth that is also a little bit exploitative. Like, I can't pull up any clear facts right now. I probably should have done that. But thinking about, like, yes, predominantly white settlers are the ones taking advantage of and wreaking havoc on the earth, but there's also a economic element at play that different nations might take different paths towards, or with, or on. So that was interesting to read about and be like, every person is different, every nation is different, every nation has different policies, and is policy the right word? Anyway, I'm rambling. Reading that. I'm also reading 2 books that are not part of this vlog, but I'm going to tell you about them anyway. One of them is Be Gay, Do Crime, which is a collection of short stories by queer authors about queer chaos and queer crime. The first story follows this anarchist lesbian couple who find a baby in the alleyway and take in this baby and raise this baby as their own, and some issues come with that. I also started reading A Hunger Like No Other by Cressley Cole, which is a werewolf vampire monster romance book that was included in Spicy Cats Reads werewolf recommendations. And I was like, I'm not into werewolves, but Kitty really sold it. And her suggestion is to look at the trigger warnings, which I did, and I was like, I'm still so curious. And I got it from my library and I started reading it, and I was like, oh yeah, I see why this is problematic, and I'm going to continue. Because I love a problematic monster read. I just do. That's my hot take, I guess. I don't want my monster books to be like correct. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong, I do. But I also have been known to enjoy some questionable actions in a monster book. So that's what I'm reading. Right now, I'm crocheting some monstera leaves for a crochet monstera for a project I've been working on. And so I'm gonna do that and watch some YouTube and try my best to drink all the fluids and get less sick. Hi, don't mind my sick voice. I just want to get this video finished because I finished reading Ariel, even though in my last clip I was like, I don't really want to read it. I'm sick. Gross. But I was like, it's not going to take me that long to finish. It took me maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 to finish from where I was at. So, Ariel's collection of poetry by Sylvia Plath. This edition includes a facsimile of her manuscript, which I looked at, but not in depth. That wasn't necessarily like what I was interested in, I guess, but I did read it. What are my thoughts on it? I liked a couple poems. I really liked Lady Lazarus, and I think that one was my favorite. I also liked The Moon and the Yew Tree, and also The Rival. But other than that, I think with poetry collections, I'm like not always blown away by them, but I'm glad that I finally got around to this because I've had it for a really long time. So let's recap what I read so that I was reading books that spelled my name. Here we go. I-N-D-I-A. Nope. I-N-D-I-A. There we go. So I'm gonna put them back in there out of order because I put them chronologically. I read If They Come For Us in the Morning by Angela Y. Davis, or edited by Angela Y. Davis. I really enjoyed this. I think it was great to read. There we go. I think this was great to read. This is all about prison abolition and specifically focusing on the experience of political prisoners in the US. And I just was really surprised at how accessible this was, like how easily it read from a language standpoint, and was really impressed with everything that was being said. Not that I was like surprised by it, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna pause while my cat uses the litter box. Okay, I also read The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts. This is about a woman who sells herself to, or like makes a deal with a demon and ends up being auctioned off to some monsters, specifically a dragon. And I really liked this a lot. I just had so much fun with this, and it just affirms that monster romance is for me. I read Nama by Sarah Blake. This is a retelling of Noah's Ark from the perspective of his wife, Nama, who is really questioning what's going on, not super into the flood, especially the fact that it took her away from her lover, Bethel. And this explores a lot of queerness. This talks about sex a lot and was really entrancing, I think. I just felt really compelled to pick it up while I was reading it. I loved the writing, I liked the story, I liked the themes that were being explored. Then I read In the Next Room, or The Vibrator Play by Sarah Ruhl. This is a play exploring the invention or the history of the vibrator, which was used in gynecological studies in the treatment of hysteria in women. I don't know what time, but it also thinks a lot about like the dawn of electricity. This thinks a lot about the role of motherhood, and specifically what taking care of a child really looks like, and how women who feel like they don't or like can't take care of their children in the way that they're supposed to feel a lot of guilt towards that, or about that. So this was really interesting and I liked it. And then lastly, Ariel. And I talked to you about that. Thank you so much for watching this. Oh. My cats are wreaking havoc. Thank you so much for watching this video, even as it's ending with me being unwell. If you've read any of these books, let me know. Again, I am doing this inspired by Sunny of A Sunny Book Nook. And I will see you when I see you.